everyone, welcome to the very first harvest video of 2024. Today I'm going to be doing a spring harvest, so some of the things I have to harvest are radishes, lettuce, bok choy, I think some beets as well. And before I get into the harvesting, I did just want to give you guys just a quick pan around the garden. I was gonna do an April garden tour around this week, but we had a couple of kind of late frosts that I wasn't expecting, and I didn't get everything planted out yet. So I'm kind of waiting till we get a lot of our tomatoes planted in before we do the tour, so that's probably going to be in early May. And then April has just been really busy between work, spring garden projects, and then Taylor Swift's new album coming out. I mean, there are just not enough hours in the day. So yeah, the garden tour is going to be coming soon, but in the meantime, I did want to give you just a little bit of an update since things are changing very quickly. A lot of stuff is growing and has grown since the last video, which was a few weeks ago. So here's a look at the garden. Actually, I don't know if at a first glance things look very different, but I can definitely tell that a lot of things have grown. For example, these onions that I transplanted a couple months ago, even though they're still kind of small, they're definitely double or triple in size since I transplanted them. The garlic is also getting really nice and tall. I've got another full bed of onions here that have grown a lot. All of our fruit trees have bloomed in the past month, and also our berry bushes are blooming right now. So here are some blueberry bushes. They're kind of on the tail end of their blossoming. Here's one of our blackberry bushes, and you can see that they're going to start flowering soon. And our apple trees were really covered in blossoms. Most of them have died by now, but you can see just some late blossoms here. They're so pretty. The fruit trees are always so beautiful when they're blooming. The back garden is pretty much done now. We've added in all the mulch on the beds. Yesterday I came in and worked on the irrigation system here. So it's 80% there, and we started planting in a few things. We have marigolds and tomatoes. This whole row is going to be tomatoes, but I waited to plant out all my tomatoes just in case there was a late frost, and I'm glad I did because there was one a couple days ago. We had 2 days of a super light frost. These plants actually made it through because I covered these with little plastic containers, kind of as a mini greenhouse. So I just had a few plants that I needed to cover, and I'm glad that they made it through all right. But if I had 40 tomato plants to cover, I'm not sure that I would have had enough materials to get them all safely. Probably in the next week, now that we are in the clear, I think I'm gonna plant out the rest of our tomatoes, but I don't know. I'm a little bit scared too because we've definitely had late frosts in the past, so I might wait till May. But anyway, that's what we have going on here. Just a few plants. Most of this is empty. And then in the back of this row, I did direct sow some beans. Some of them did get frost damage. You can see this one is all dried out because it got damaged, but then other ones hadn't completely popped up yet, so they're fine. And I was willing to take the chance for beans because you just direct sow them, so there's not a lot of time and energy spent on starting the plants and raising them indoors. So I kind of took a gamble with those, and about 50% made it, so I'm okay with that. This whole row in the back here is even more onions, and then coming around the side here, I have my 2 rhubarb plants. This one is really small, but then this one was quite large this year, and I was able to actually harvest a few stalks. It was my first time harvesting off of these plants, which I started from seed, and I just had a small bundle, and it was my first time ever eating rhubarb, which is really cool. And yeah, we'll see if I'm able to get another harvest from them or not, but pretty cool. And then in this row, I have a volunteer potato, and then the things I did plant are some sunflowers. This is a sunflower here, and then I have bush beans over here. These ones somehow managed to make it through the frost amazingly, so really happy about that. Then on this side of the garden, I actually forgot about our asparagus row. So we're gonna go through here and harvest if there's anything. I'm actually not sure if there's anything today because we harvested yesterday. Well, I see one spear here, so there may be a couple. But yeah, we're in asparagus season now. Definitely a very spring vegetable. And you can see that some of the smaller stalks that we leave are starting to grow and make some fronds now. All right, so now on to what we're going to be harvesting. And the bulk of what we're harvesting today is actually from our 2 Vego garden beds. The first one is over here, and you can see it's looking really nice. Lots of beautiful colors. We have two different types of lettuces here, which we're gonna go through and harvest. Then we have some beets over here, and these are overwintered from the fall. So some of them I think are starting to go to seed, and the roots are still a little bit on the smaller side, but I think we're just gonna go ahead and harvest them because the greens look really nice, so we can always just eat the greens if the roots aren't big enough. Or what we did last time we harvested a few is we juiced the entire thing, root and leaves, along with like apples and ginger, and it makes a really good juice. I love when you juice beets, the red color comes out really nicely. And then I have been harvesting a lot of spinach, but then it started to go to seed because it's getting warm, so I'm just leaving a few plants to go to seed so that I can collect those seeds. And then in this bed, I'm going to be kind of like clearing out this side. In this half of the bed, I had a lot of bok choy, so just like last week, I started harvesting a lot of that because it's starting to flower. You can see some of these are starting to bolt here. And for any of the ones where you know, they're just like slightly flowering like this, it hasn't gotten too bad yet, I think I'm gonna go ahead and harvest these. The middle part can be a little bit bitter where it's starting to flower, but I think it's definitely still edible. But then I have, like, for example, this plant where it has a really long flower stem. I don't think that's gonna taste very good. It's gonna be really bitter, so this is just gonna go to the chickens. Then I also have some radishes. I just did a little row here of some French breakfast radishes. You can see it's kind of like the longer radishes. I harvested some of these yesterday, so there's some empty spots, but I'm gonna go through and pick any of the ones that are larger. So that's going to be it for this bed. But then if we move on to this bed in the back, I do have more radishes to pick here. And this bed is looking amazing. I just set this up, I think, like 2 months ago. This is the new raised bed that Vego Garden sent to us. And you can just see how quickly you can have this bed set up and have things ready to harvest. In just a couple months, we're able to be picking from it, which is really amazing. So in this bed, I had planted a lot of my larger brassicas, like cabbages. So you can see here, I have a couple of larger cabbage plants. On this side, I have broccoli. It's kind of these like darker green leaves. And then in between the bigger plants, you can see this whole mass of like medium green leaves. These are all radishes that I interplanted in between the broccoli. And now they're about getting to the point where I can harvest them. And I don't think all of them are ready, but we're definitely gonna go through and pick the larger radishes. And that way it'll leave space for any smaller ones to continue growing. So we'll just kind of like thin them out a little bit. Oh, you can see I have some like pill bugs that are eating the radishes over there. So yeah, we're gonna go through this bed and pick more radishes. This is a different variety. These are the Giant of Sicily radishes that I really love. They're a globe radish versus like a long one like the French breakfast. And then we still have to set up this back area of this garden. We might do it tonight. So we just have a piece of a cattle panel. We're gonna put some T-posts and have this be another vertical trellis. So I might put some more tomatoes back here. We're really going all in with the tomatoes this year. So it'll be good to have another trellis to be able to support those tomatoes. So these are the beets we picked. The actual roots definitely are not very big, but the greens are very nice. So I'll probably either just cook the greens as and just like cut the roots off, or we can juice pretty much everything from root to tip. This is the new variety of bok choy that I tried this year, by the way. It's the milk bok choy from Baker Creek, and I do really like it. You can see how the stalks are a little bit shorter, so it's a little bit more of like what you get at the store usually, and I think that the white stems are a little bit more like sweet and tender than the regular like Shanghai bok choy that has like the greener stems. So I do really like this. I will definitely grow it again. The plants are a little bit smaller, which I like, but that does mean you have to grow more of them. Here is the final harvest. We have lots and lots of radishes, the two different kinds. They're both so pretty. I don't even know that I could choose a favorite. And then we have a little bunch of bok choy, just a small bunch because I've already harvested most of it, but that's still a good harvest. And then we have our bowl of lettuce here. So pretty with all of the different kinds. It's so nice to grow a mix and just mix them all together. Just a few spears of asparagus today, but we have been harvesting a lot. I think we have like a whole quart in the fridge, and we've been harvesting a few bunches each week. And then our small beets, but a beautiful bunch of beet greens. So that's going to be it for today's video, a little harvest and quick tour as well. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll be back soon with a full garden tour once we get all of our like tomatoes and things planted, so that'll be coming soon. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you again in the next one.